Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. How you doing this morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you may be in this world, and whatever time it may be where you're located. Hey, yo, hold your horses. Let's not take it to the stupid. Boxing's dipsomaniac. Uncontrollable urge to consume alcohol. What's the story, people? Public opinion about Claressa Shields has always been in the breeze. But the public opinion around her right now, it's intensifying. Recently, the conversation has shifted into an even more complicated space as fans react to claims that she was seen drinking, although despite previously stating that she does not drink. Check this out. She was drinking liquor, taking shots. She did come out and say she doesn't drink. But then she also said that, she may a couple times a year or something. So I heard when that first one was said, I don't drink, but, maybe a couple times, but I don't, like not that often. Let me tell you something. If you drink put this fan on, man. If you drink a couple times a year, you know what that means? That means you drink. That doesn't mean you don't drink. Like with me, I don't drink. I don't drink, period. It's been like 15 years. 15 years since I drink alcohol. Not because I was an alcoholic. I was never a big drinker anyway. And, my dad was like, yo, there's a wicked genie in every bottle. You're going to wake him up. You know what I mean? You're working out. You're building yourself up. You have all these positive things. Why you want to sit there and deal with that? Be Basil D. That's the slang word they use, man. It's like you want to be Basil D. That means like you want to get drunk, be drunk. And my grandmother told me the same thing, you know what I mean? Why you want to put any kind of intoxicant into your body. So as I got older, I just wasn't messing with it. And when I had kids, even though I was drinking 3 times a year, every blue moon, I didn't really drink. But when I had kids, I said, fuck that. I don't ever want to be in a position to where I just take a sip of something and something happens and I can't react. So, when I had kids, that was it. And I have no interest in it. So that's what you call someone who does not drink. She's someone who drinks. But it makes people say, you said this, now you're doing this. We don't believe you. Okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, anyone who drinks, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't care. Do what you want. But when you're saying you don't do something, and then you're right there in the camera, and you're getting zooted, people are going to judge you, especially when you're someone like Claressa Shields. You know what I mean? She already has the attention on her. But anyway, when it comes to that specific moment, even if you saw her drink and you still don't feel it's fully confirmed, you're like, oh, she had apple juice in there. The reaction to what we saw has opened the door to a much larger conversation about athlete branding, contradictions between words and actions, how quickly fans judge those contradictions in the age of social media. And I'm going to tell you this. Claressa Shields, she can fight. And I'm going to keep saying that because I just don't know who's going to really beat her. I know there's some women out there who can give her a run for her money. But I'm going to tell you this too. The fact that she's out here getting zooted, doesn't matter how talented she is. She's giving opponents every opportunity to catch her right now and give her first loss. Now remember, I've been saying, this is the time for someone to beat Claressa Shields. And I would have loved to see Shadesha Green getting there. I know Hannah Gabriel's, she got to get back in motion. The other female fighters out there a little bit smaller. Franchon Cruz's hasn't been the most active, but she can fight. But this is the time. She's distracted. She got a lot of internal and external pressure, personal, professional drama. And now we find out she's out here tapping the bottle and twisting the goddamn cap. But undeniably, one of the most accomplished female fighters of all time, But being a champion inside the ring doesn't protect someone from scrutiny outside of it. And she has all eyes on her. She's the female Tupac. She ain't nowhere close to no Muhammad Ali or Floyd Mayweather. She more like a goddamn Tupac. Tupac Shields Kerr is what the hell she is. The moment fans feel a fighter is not in alignment with their own message, especially regarding discipline, health, and lifestyle choices, the backlash is almost immediate. I'm telling you, people are just sitting back in the bushes. They're just watching. Because they know every day she's gonna drop something. Every day they're like, oh, something's gonna drop on her. We'll get something on her. And they're just waiting, and they're just at their computers waiting. As soon as it drops, capture screen or screen record. I mean, they're just waiting. And before she can go and try to delete or undo something, they have it. And they start making videos and everything else. You know what I'm saying? But I'll say this. For Shields, the perception of contradiction is damaging because her brand, my brand, has often been built around toughness, because we'll give her that. Discipline, we will give her that. Resilience, we'll give her that. And being a role model for young girls, we cannot give her that. There was a time when we gave her that, but no, we've taken that back from her. When fans see behavior they interpret as inconsistent with that image, it creates a narrative clash that can overshadow the athlete's accomplishments. And that's why no one is talking about Claressa Shields' gold medals. No one's talking about her titles. No one's talking about just how great she has been as a female boxer. No one cares anymore because there's so much shit going on with her that's negative and drama-filled that fans are now focused on that. And as a result, it's overshadowed her accomplishments and people don't take her serious. You know why? Because that alcohol could be the Mad Dog 2020. Becomes a symbolic trigger in this conversation because of what it represents. Not just a casual drink, but a signal to many fans about discipline. Discipline! Not playing your card right. Lifestyle choices. You're going to be a rapper? But the markets in the money that go get it. But Papa Poos, and I go to Neiman Markets and I bite you in the ankle. Stop the bullshit. Discipline, lifestyle choices, mental preparedness. From a biological standpoint, alcohol affects the human body in ways that directly conflict with the demands of elite level performance. Scientifically, alcohol is a depressant, slowing down brain activity, reaction time, and cognitive processing. These aren't my words. I'm not making this up. It dehydrates the body, reduces muscular recovery, and impacts sleep quality. Spikes inflammation and can take 48 to 72 hours for the body to fully clear, depending on how much was consumed. For an athlete, even occasional use during a camp or months before a fight can be detrimental. Message: alcohol interferes with neuromuscular firing patterns, reduces strength output, and worsens cardiovascular efficiency. It dampens the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, impulse control, and strategic planning. All essential tools for a fighter. Let me tell you this. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, Claressa Shields cannot afford to have the prefrontal cortex dampened at all. She has shown in the ring that her decision-making has been on point. Her impulse control in the ring has been on point. It can get a bit chaotic, but everything with her has been control, strategy, everything has been on point. All of the essential tools for a fighter, Claressa Shields has always shown. And I'd happen to feel right now that we know she's out here hitting the bottle and shit, hitting the liquor, getting zooted, sipping that booze and shit. I'd have to say, again, this is the time for someone to beat her. Even if a fighter dons the persona of being mentally strong, which Claressa Shields said, I'll never show I'm weak. I will always this, I will that. And if I'm up in Neiman Marcus, if I want it, I'll go get it. She always talking about how she mentally strong. Let me tell you something. The science of alcohol is indifferent. It affects the body, every brain, regardless of confidence. So it doesn't matter who you are. You putting that bullshit in your body, it is going to start to break your brain apart. People, do what you want. But I'm telling you, leave that shit alone. Matter of fact, put down the bottle. Ladies, go on out there and grab a man, give him a little piece. That's what you do. Replace the alcohol with a man in your life, a good man. Give somebody the freaky deaky. Leave that goddamn Mad Dog 2020 alone. This is why fighters like Errol Spence Jr. Y'all know Errol Spence, right? Alcohol almost took that boy's life. Drinking that alcohol and speeding in that Ferrari. You better listen to him. Openly spoke about the dangers of drinking, especially during a career peak. Spence himself admitted that alcohol played a role in derailing certain phases of his prime. His message to younger fighters was simple. Alcohol takes from you quietly. It chips away at discipline, damages long-term health, and robs an athlete of their sharpness. Fighters like Spence warned about alcohol not from judgment, but from lived experiences. They've learned firsthand how a small habit can become a long-term setback. And that's exactly what happened to Errol Spence. Errol Spence is one of the fan-favorite fighters. But I know he sits back and says to himself, if I wouldn't have been drinking that alcohol, first let me say this. You can only control certain things, right? You can't control the inevitable. You know what I mean? Something gonna happen is gonna happen, but you learn from your mistakes, and he did. But I know that he sits back and he wonders, if I wasn't drinking, would have never gotten into that car accident, how would my career have been? Would I have beat Terrence Crawford? I know he's got to have those conversations with himself. It's only natural. Doesn't mean he would have beat Crawford, but you got to think, what Errol Spence been through was a direct result of drinking that fucking alcohol. But that shit took a lot out of him. That car accident, see, you just didn't see everything he went through. You just saw the car, he was in a car accident, then boom, he's back in the ring. Almost make you think nothing happened to him. Errol Spence was messed up, man. Messed up. He just downplays it, doesn't really talk about it. But he will say, nah, leave that alone. You know how he talk all slow, he's so damn chill. Nah, man, yeah. Leave that alcohol alone, man. Nah, man. That's not gonna make a dog hunt. You can't be drinking that alcohol and expect for your dog to hunt. Whatever that means. But the bottom line is, guys like Errol Spence learned firsthand how a small habit can become a long-term setback. And these warnings amplify the concern many fans express when they perceive a fighter as not maintaining full discipline. Claressa Shields does not maintain full discipline. She'll tell you she's disciplined 6 weeks before a fight because she claims she won't have sex, but she'll take care of her man. A lot of us are still wondering, how you taking care of him? I've seen some of the comments, people saying, oh, well, she could be doing this or she could be doing that. I'll say she do what the hell she wants. She can do what the hell she wants. Because if she comes to Neiman Marcus, if she wants it, she'll go get it. But as the fight approaches, fans are sitting here wondering, what are we going to get from Claressa Shields? For a fighter like her, whose brand, which this is true, it often projects dominance inside the ring. That's true. Got to give her that. Confidence, which she has a whole lot of that. Mental superiority, I don't know if she has all of that. But I'll say inside the ring, I'll say at least the way she is able to stay composed and knows that, like, she has a self-belief like I've just never seen. Like, she knows I can win this fight, I can win this round, I can dominate this person in front of me. So mentally, she has been superior inside the ring. Any hint of slipping discipline, which is what I believe, accurate or not, creates a major storyline. That's why I'm talking about it, because I do think her discipline is slipping. I don't know what caused it. I don't know what direction it's going to go, But I do know that the discipline has slipped big time. Whether it's being done intentionally or inadvertently, I don't know. I just know it's happening. And the frustration many fans express about Claressa Shields stems not just from the drinking claim itself, but from a pattern they feel involves mixed messaging, you know? Shields has always been bold, outspoken, vociferous, loquacious, loud. Hey, look at me. I'm okay, you're not okay. And unapologetically vocal. Traits that many admire, some don't like. But those same traits, when paired with contradictions, create confusion. Fans want clarity, consistency, and honesty. When someone says, I don't drink, and is later perceived to be drinking, or later to see your ass tapping the bottle and twisting the cap, fans label it hypocrisy. And fans have been saying this about Claressa Shields ever since Layla Ali told us that Claressa Shields was a hypocrite. Claressa Shields was a narcissist. Claressa Shields creates her own narratives. Claressa Shields needs help. I mean, Layla Ali put it out there. She showed us the videos without even saying anything. You can see that Claressa Shields has always been a hypocrite. She's still a hypocrite. So when someone like her says, I'm a role model, and then exits behavior fans see as unrole model, shit, unrole model like, what you expect? They're going to call that shit a contradiction. Whether those judgments are fair or not, perception becomes a reality that shapes public reputation. And social media accelerates that effect at lightning speed. But she don't seem to care. She like to be on that social media. I got to do a video about Jaya Pattaya. I'm going to do that one today. But one of the deepest questions here is psychological. Why would an athlete with the fight approach and drink alcohol at all, even casually? You know, even if your fight's months away. I just told y'all what that can do to a fighter. You know what I'm saying? The shit affects fighters. And for many athletes, alcohol isn't about pleasure, it's about escape. Psychological pressure of being a champion, being under a microscope, being criticized constantly, and dealing with personal life expectations can cause people to seek relief. Maybe she's trying to seek relief in a way. You know, things happen. Maybe she's going through something more than what we know. That's why she out here tapping the bottle and twisting the cap. Or again, who knows? Maybe she had apple juice in there. But I'm going to tell you, for a guy who used to, you know, I used to drink my little amaretto sours and Long Islands and my little scotch and coconut water and shit. That little, when she took that shit, that wasn't apple juice. I put it to you that way. That was fire water. But alcohol, for some people, it temporarily lowers anxiety, numbs your stress, and creates emotional distance from pressure. That momentary release can become appealing, especially for fighters who feel misunderstood or constantly attacked. Claressa Shields has publicly expressed feeling disrespected by fans, undervalued by the sport, undermined by media, and judged unfairly. But she can feel how she wants. I think there's a little bit of truth in all that, but then at the same time, I think that it's not all of that should carry a weighted value. You know what I'm saying? Or it should, but instead of being tens, maybe twos. So there's some truth, but then it's not to the extreme that she'll try to paint the picture she's trying to paint. Now, for someone carrying that psychological load, alcohol, if consumed, may function as a coping mechanism more than a lifestyle choice. That could be what's going on here. So I think there's the cultural factor too. You know, I really do. Shields moves in circles that blend boxing, music, social media, culture, and entertainment. I remember being 15 at the Rock Candy Club opening up for Run DMC. Me, David, Thomas, Ernest. Our rap group was called Native Pool, NATUV, Nationalities Are Together Under Vibes, presenting unique literature. So that was the Native and Pool, PUL. Shit was corny, but we thought we were doing something. Anyway, we had done some songs and opened up for Run DMC. And I just remember being up in the club at 15. They let us in, and we in there. We knew everybody. This was an adult club, but we would street kids, so we knew everybody. So we up in the Rock Candy Club and shit, opening up for DMC, and the alcohol and the bullshit passed around. I didn't fuck with it, but I did have one friend, man. He was, stupid. They passed him a 40, he grabbed it and drank it. And I was like, yo, motherfucker, you don't even drink. And he just like thought it was funny. I was like, I just shook my head at him and shit. But anyway, I understand when it comes to that hip hop culture. Sometimes, man, when you're trying to be a rapper, you can get caught up. And for her personality has always carried elements of the rapper persona: confidence, bravado, aggression, comedic timing, and a willingness to clap back instantly. This culture normalizes drinking and partying as part of the brand, part of the image. She is trying to be a rapper. Talk about my lyrics, my bars. Anyway, for some fighters, being around that environment increases the likelihood of participating, even if it conflicts with the stated public image. This is why some fans believe she may be drifting toward a rapper lifestyle because it mirrors the energy she puts out. Fast-paced, loud, expressive, full of emotional extremes and violence. The issue many fans express is not that Shields is imperfect. Everyone is imperfect, all right? But that her contradictions make her difficult to categorize. I was talking about this last night. She's trying to be a role model. She's trying to be a villain, social media personality, crossover celebrity, a serious boxer. Is she trying to go to Neiman Marcus? If I want it, I'll go get it. What's she trying to do? So, fans feel she hasn't decided. And I'll be honest with you, I think she's all over the place. I don't think she really knows what she wants to do anyway. You want to be a boxer, you want to be a wife, you want to have a child, you want to be a drunk, you want to be a rapper. I liked her better when she was just a boxer. I'll be honest with you. Just be a boxer. That's her bread and butter. All the gazillions will come. Just change your attitude. But she got so much shit going on right now. It's crazy. And that's why when a public figure doesn't categorize themselves, the audience does it for them. That's what we've done. That's what I do. That's what everyone else is doing. They're going to categorize you harshly. It's called criticism. Observations. Some fans believe she's on a path towards self-sabotage, not because of a drink, but because of inconsistencies in message, attitude, and behavior. Others believe she's simply human, dealing with the pressure the best she can. And I hear that. I do. When I hear people saying that, I hear that. Because if you don't have the skill set to deal with stress, you don't have the skill, you haven't went out there and got the help to deal with your past trauma. You can come out here and find yourself being the talk of the town and people laughing at you and using you for clicks, and you don't even realize it. I'm going to tell you again, I'm going to say this over and over. These interviews that she's doing, they are not helping her. They're making people dislike her more, and most people aren't even feeling sorry for her anymore. So she may think that's going to equate to her getting Floyd Mayweather numbers, pay-per-view wise, and Floyd Mayweather money. You know what? Yo, if it does, well, job well done. But look at Floyd Mayweather life. All the money in the world, that man can't go nowhere without somebody harassing him or trying to be mean to him or trying to hurt him, trying to rob him. Floyd Mayweather can't go anywhere. Nowhere. Unless he has a big ass entourage. And that's some sad shit. Sad. Gotta have someone with him. People gotta have weapons. They gotta be ready to go to war. If Floyd did walk around 5'7", he got these twin towers all over his ass. He right there in the middle. They form Voltron to protect his ass. This man, maybe the best boxer to ever put on a pair of gloves, Floyd Mayweather. Maybe the best. And he can't get out there and scrap. He got to sit his ass in the center of the storm that his villain personality and persona created. And he got to let everybody else protect his ass. That is, I'll say, probably the best boxer to ever put on a pair of gloves. And he got people protecting him. So how'd that work out for him? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I wonder if her personality is built for long-term compatibility with fans and corporate sponsors. Because I already talked briefly about long-term compatibility with a person, her personality, to be in a relationship with a man. That's a whole nother conversation, which I'm not going to get into today. But that's the bigger question, is whether her personality is built for long-term compatibility with fans and corporate sponsors. Brands invest in fighters who are consistent, predictable, stable, and easy to market. An unpredictable persona can be exciting, but it can also scare major sponsors away, and also can scare away a Rottweiler and Pitbull and Crocodile. Could you imagine Claressa Shields got in there, jumped in a swamp with a crocodile? I 100% believe the crocodile will start to cry like a dog. The crocodile will run away. I ain't playing. I think Claressa Shields would scare a crocodile. The Pitbull, the Pitbull and Rottweiler, that's easy work for Claressa Shields. Easy work. That crocodile, though, I think he could take a pound of flesh out of her ass, but I think when she started talking, matter of fact, if Claressa Shields would get in a fight with a crocodile, it would even be her shouting and screaming that would scare the crocodile. Because the crocodile he ain't worry about that. He just sit there and kind of lash his tail, whip his tail at her, hit her in the mouth, and be like, shut up. But as soon as she start rapping, and I want to keep the crocodile in the swamp, and I'll go get it, and I'll make a pair of shoes out the crocodile. That crocodile gonna be like, that motherfucker gonna swim his ass up the swamp, back up the goddamn swamp. Be like, I ain't messing with her. If I lose, she gonna make a goddamn pair of shoes and a purse out of me. Hell no. Change the name from Claressa Shields to Crocodile Shields. Crocodile Shields. Make a pair of shoes out that crocodile's ass. I'm just saying, man. Brands invest in fighters who are consistent, predictable, stable, and easy to market. Claressa's unpredictable as hell, man. The more Shields leans into shock value, confrontation, and controversy, the stronger her impact becomes, but the smaller her corporate footprint may grow. And that's why I just don't think anything, she's not going to get what I feel she deserves until she makes those changes, man. Companies want reliability, not volatility. She is volatile. What the young people say, a crash out? I keep hearing that shit. I'm like, a crash out. But that's what she is. She's a crash out waiting to happen. You know what I mean? You ever seen something explode and implode at the same goddamn time? That would be Claressa Shields. So whether Shields can maintain marketability while being authentically herself will depend on how well she aligns her messaging with her behavior moving forward. Ultimately, the path Shields takes will be influenced by Let me tell you something. This path that she's going to take, she got to really think about her legacy, man. Because perception shapes a person's legacy. It's not only about money. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm about to take this conversation way left, but I don't think people are ready for that conversation. I'll talk about that during the live. I'll save that for the live. I'll just say this, young girls looking up to her, consistency and discipline matter as much as accomplishments. For fans, authenticity is respected, but contradictions are punished. And for brands, stability is worth more than talent. Shields is at a crossroads, not because of a drink, but because public perception is shifting. Big time. Whether she stabilizes that perception or leans deeper into chaos will determine whether this moment becomes a footnote or the beginning of a long-term narrative. I personally think her taking them shots was the drink heard around the world. Claressa Shields has been exposed. And, the fans have the claws out right now. They're saying Claressa Shields is ruining her own legacy. She's no role model. She's a walking contradiction. And that's why these debates explode. Because there's some people saying you guys are wrong about it. Others are saying, nah, you're spot on. But what I'll say is this. She's on a dangerous path. Fans are sounding the alarm. And the bottom line is the self-proclaimed GOAT has become her own worst enemy. And that's why I gave y'all this breakdown. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans on 7 continents. I'm in the breeze, but I may be in Neiman Marcus because if it's something that I wanted, then I wanted to go get it. In the breeze.